not sure if this thing is even on or if anyone can hear me out there. Not even sure if anybody is on. I'm going to do my best to look at the camera, but I'm also looking at my computer so I don't miss any chats. But let me make sure it says I'm live. So, guys, welcome from the communist state of New York. This is Modern Munitions. I'm your host, Jeff. This is my first live. Going to try to do a lot of these and keep it going, right? I think, especially in today's, with everything going on in the world, want to hear what my audience is thinking about everything going on. And what's up, Thomas? I see your comment. Now, when I'm on other live streams, usually there's a way to show this. But big shout out to you, my man. Appreciate you being here on my first live. That's awesome. Appreciate all your support from day one. Man, I can't thank you enough. Really always have good feedback. I'm laughing because I love your comments. I am going to do a video at the end of the year or maybe after in the new year, but just as some of my best comments. One of the big reasons I do this is really for you guys out there, right? We're all on the same page, which is why I wanted to jump on live tonight and, jump in on the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. But, I want to cover 3 areas and I took some notes. Man, we're going to talk about that 2011 collection because, my man, you got probably one of the best collections, even in any gun tuber has. So we'll get into that also because I got some questions I want to ask you. But, really, right, we got an upcoming election. Coming from New York, there's a lot of bullshit in New York, and I'm going to start the conversation with that because I'm waiting on a pistol as we speak. What a lot of people wouldn't consider a pistol, but what's classified as a pistol. Going to talk about some of the censorship, unfortunately, right? I have a small channel, but a lot of the bigger channels, even my channel's been getting crushed when it comes to just getting views out there and just, everything else, right? YouTube and Instagram, whatever it is just doing a hell of a job censoring anyone 2A related and also certain sides of politics. And, we're just going to have an open fucking conversation. Big shout out to Hop Pinchin. Appreciate you jumping on also, my man. And, appreciate you guys being here, right? Like I said, sometimes I do these videos and I'm even surprised that anyone watches them. But a big reason, and just to give you a little background on why I kicked off all of this stuff, including this channel, a lot of it is also just a way for me to vocalize and get out my frustrations, right? It's almost like therapy to get out there. We got this governor in New York, and I'll give you an example, right? I've had my concealed carry permit for over a year now, probably about a year and a half. And even though I have, and I'm a licensed concealed carry holder, every time I buy a pistol, I got to wait 3 to 8 weeks to pick up that pistol. So think about that, right? Like, let's say a new gun, like the new HK just came out. Which, I'm not sure, Thomas, I'm not sure. I'd love to hear your feedback on that HK. Hop, love to hear yours also. Me personally, I'm not going to lie, I'm not too impressed. I'm not a micro pistol guy. That's one of the reasons. The second reason is, and listen, I love HK. Thomas, everyone who watches this channel knows out there, I'm a 10 millimeter guy. And the fact that HK or CZ has not come out with a 10 millimeter yet is fucking a little disappointing. I heard that they tested the hell out of this gun. I'm sure it's a great pistol. But like a lot of other folks are saying, just me personally, I feel like they're a little bit late to the game. I feel like there's nothing special about it. From what I'm hearing, folks are having to run this gun before they're even happy with it, right? And listen, we're in 2024. You shouldn't have to cycle a gun unless it's a 2011, right? Or 1911. That's different. That's different. So, that's just me personally. But anyway, bought this gun about 3 weeks ago. I got a Radical Firearms .300 blackout. It's got an 8.5-inch barrel. And unfortunately, once again with these shit laws in New York, I gotta wait. Hopefully, I'll be able to pick it up next week. The process is, once I get one of these pistols, you got to fill out all the paperwork. It's got to go back to the pistol licensing unit. They got to run it up to a judge. Depending on the judge, and we're going to get into some of this political stuff in a minute, they'll sit on it. They will sit on your paperwork for 4, 6, 7 weeks sometimes. So that's definitely frustrating, especially being having a channel. If any manufacturer even wanted to send me a firearm, the process I got to go through to even get it, I'm already 2 months behind the ball on testing that firearm. Now, don't get it confused. Anyone out there listening, happy to work with you manufacturers, but there's definitely a delay. Pistol Pete, yeah, appreciate you jumping on that. It is called, I guess, the cooling off period. The problem with that though too is it's funny. Once I even get approved, and like I said, I called the licensing unit today. My license is in the mail. Even once I'm approved and I bring that coupon up to go get my pistol, I'm usually hit with a delay in the system. Now, for what that delay is, I'm hearing, they're backed up, right? There's only X amount of people running these checks. Obviously, New York, there's probably a record number of people going for their pistols. So typically, you're either approved over the phone when you get your coupon and get your gun, or you got to wait a few days and come back. So definitely, complaining but not complaining, right? Very happy with Bruin. Very happy we have the right to carry. Still, we got a lot of work to do in New York. I think that there was a major win this past week or two where one of the courts struck down what Governor Hochul did as far as saying, like, stores have to have a sign saying that they welcome you in. From what I'm hearing, don't quote me on this, but there might be some changes with that, which I have to look into personally. So New York, definitely not a great place, but there's worse places out there. California, and remember, guys, I'm in Westchester County, which is a lot different than New York City, which is even worse. What I'm hearing in New York City is, man, fuck, I think you can only have like 5 to 6 rounds, not even 10 rounds, which is friggin' crazy. So, yeah, you're right. I do got to come down to VA. And it's funny, I was just in your neck of the woods 2 months ago, if you remember. If anyone hasn't seen it, I went down to Choppa Day 24, awesome event with a guy named Mark Choppa, which actually is going to bring me to my next thing. We're going to just jump into the censorship stuff, right? I don't want to just talk about New York. So anyway, went down to Choppa Day 24. This guy's doing huge things with the community, tons of folks from DC, and we all met in Virginia. Thomas, to your point, super 2A friendly state. Loved it down there, to say the least, right? We had folks with silencers, suppressors, binary triggers. That was my first time shooting a binary trigger, etc. But, his brother, so his brother was just, taken off of Instagram. The reason I can relate to that, he had a big following. These guys are pretty big in the industry. But 2 weeks ago, my Instagram page was taken down for no reason. Very small page. I'm not complaining. But YouTube, right? Same thing, right? And we see this a lot. We see it in politics. We saw it during the Hunter Biden shit, and we're going to get into that. I don't care politically what side people are on, this and that. To me, there's a clear decision who I'm voting for. I think if you're a gun owner, there has to be a clear decision. It's a no-brainer. If you ask me personally, it's crazy some of the things that are going on when you think of the censorship. Once again, and I'll just bring up the Hunter Biden story, but when you have the Department of Justice and other agencies reaching out to big tech, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook admitted that he was told to suppress certain articles and did it, and is still allowed to go out there and run his multi-billion-dollar platform with no consequences or no accountability, I think it kind of goes to show the day and age that we're living in, which is really unfortunate. Going back to a lot of the gun tubers, and I just got into this a year and a half ago. Once again, very small channel. I feel like I've been lucky enough to have subscribers and folks watching that I have now. But all seriousness, right? I've only been doing this a year. Got almost 3,000 subscribers, which to me is pretty good. But for the folks that make a living off of this, right? You got some big channels out there that are getting crushed, right? Hickok 45. You look at a guy like Black Rambo, and I just looked at his shorts the other day. He was a guy that I met at the event in Virginia. The reason I looked at his channel, I just see my impressions. And once again, I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you guys what's going on from a social media perspective. But when you put a short video out there, and Thomas, I think I tried describing to you early on, you always got great comments. So a lot of these shorts that you do anyway, or at least that I do and a lot of other folks do, it's how you gain subscribers on YouTube, because your videos don't get as many impressions to get out there. Don't want to get too into the weeds, right? I'm still new to this and that. But over the last month, shorts that I would put out there that would get 5 to 10,000 views, right? Consistently drop to getting like 50 views. So you go from like 5,000 views to 50. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just my channel. Got to be more consistent. Let me look at some of the other guys in the industry. Look at a guy like Black Rambo, who was averaging 200,000 to 800,000 views per short. Drop down to what I was just averaging, 5 to 10,000. It goes to show you what some of these platforms are doing, like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, right? Obviously, I'm not just talking about gun stuff. Political stuff, there's a lot of shit going on that I think we, the people, need to figure out how to unite more and come together, because there's a much bigger agenda behind the scenes about dividing folks and keeping them distracted and being able to take their taxes, right? You keep the masses distracted, you can keep your hands in their pockets. When the masses are united, it's a lot harder to do and put on some of these rules. So, that's a big thing I kind of wanted to start getting into on this channel with some of the live stuff. Obviously, this is a gun channel. We're going to keep it very gun focused, but let me know what you guys think, even out there tonight, if you guys kind of like the direction of some of this stuff. I think it goes hand in hand, whether it's guns, camping, what we like to call shit hits the fan, right? Which doesn't have to be some conspiracy, disaster, nuclear warfare. It can be something as simple as Hurricane Helene, right? To hit the Carolinas. Having things like food, having things like water, backup energy, obviously firearms, ammo, you name it, right? Whether it's this election, the next election, there's a lot of radicalization going on in this country, and we don't have media anymore, right? We got propaganda networks that are focused on dividing the people. Once again, so we continue not to look at the big picture. So, that's what I kind of want to focus on. We will be doing more stuff. I did some videos on the bug out bag. The contents in here. Doesn't have to be a bug out bag. It could be a truck bag, a get home bag, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to start doing more stuff on that. We're also going to talk about a little just more current events, what's going on. Like I said, we got 2 weeks from this election. Crazy shit going on. Donald Trump is actually going to be at Madison Square Garden. So I got some friends that are going to see Trump at the Garden, hopefully, on Sunday. Personally, I'm not going to be there. I'm not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and waiting online for something I might not even be able to get in. And the other thing too, right? Listen, like I said, I know where I'm voting. But with that being said, I also don't trust, I don't put all my eggs in any basket, is what I'm trying to say, right? Once again, it goes back to division. There's no coincidence that this political situation we have is divided the way it is, right? There's a lot of research, a lot of science that goes into dividing folks, and it's unfortunate. You look at the 2A community. Big shout out to Chris from the 740. Man, great to see you in here. All you other guys in here. Chris has a hell of a channel. I got to meet Chris in Iowa at GunCon. Chris, it's an honor that you're even in here. So I appreciate you even taking the time to be here. But one of the coolest guys I met in Iowa, and really putting out some good content. So guys, check out Chris from the 740, please. But yeah, with that being said, like I do want to mix it up, right? Because I feel like having a channel is more, at least from my perspective in New York. Once again, that's why I kick this off, is to really talk about what's on my mind. It's going to be very heavy gun focused, but at the same time, there's so much shit going on out there. I figure it's fair to you guys to let you know where I stand, let you know some of the preparations that I do. Hopefully answer any questions that you guys might have. And the best thing about having a channel, guys like you in the audience actually help me more than I can help all of you out there, right? I can't even tell you the amount of comments that I've got in the last year, whether it's on my lever action rifle, whether it's on my, my AR, whether it's on the grips, Thomas, the red grips on the Jericho. But, all jokes aside, I mean, you guys help me just as much, and it keeps me going. So in a way, this is like therapeutic to me. But yeah, I mean, some scary stuff coming up. At the end of the day, right, I think everything is definitely going to be fine. I think there's a lot of fear mongers on YouTube. With that being said, I think at the same time, you should always be prepared for anything that might happen also, right? Big difference between promoting fear, but at the same time being ready for a disaster. And like I said, that could be a natural disaster. We've seen a lot of civil unrest over the last few years. My neighborhood personally is going to shit. And I'm going to do an on the street video. I'm going to bring my camera out there and do on the street and show you guys what some of these areas of Yonkers, including right across the street from me at CVS, have turned into. It's fucked up, man. It's really sad. Now, listen, I didn't grow up. This neighborhood was never the best neighborhood. That's a fact. But when I go to CVS right across the street and I can't buy shampoo and I can't buy soap, literally, I'm not over exaggerating, without having to buzz a buzzer so someone can unlock it because they're emptying the shelves out of the store every 3 days, it's fucked up. We got a governor that, just, allows this shit. Not only allows it, but promotes it. So we're going to do some in the street stuff. And listen, there's a lot of folks that are tired, right? There's a lot of folks who, are trying to change things and do things. So I do feel positive, right? It's almost like everything's cyclical. We had that, the late 80s and 90s, you had that big era that things were all fucked up and things got really good. And I think you got that now too, right? So while things seem, super crazy and everything else, there's definitely going to be a curve up. So I don't want to make it too negative also. So, let me know what you guys think. Like, what are you guys thinking about the election? I'm not asking who you're voting for, but like, what do you guys think as far as the division in the country? Do you think it's a coincidence that government is chosen so, to divide, right? It's funny. You never have a politician that most people are like, wow, that's someone we'll all vote for. Me personally, I'm not tied to any specific party. If there's someone capable of doing a job, I could give two shits if they're Republican, Democrat, whatever it might be. If they're smart, they're focused on the right issues, that's what matters to me. Unfortunately, like I said, we've just lost track of media and a lot of other things. So it'll be real interesting, especially in the gun community. I feel like the gun community is very divided. And apologize, guys, real quick. I feel like the gun community is very divided, and part of me feels like it's our job to have a voice in politics and tell you where we stand. When I went to GunCon, and Chris, you were there, and I got mixed feelings on it, right? Part of me feels like, people, we had this big panel, and it was some of the biggest gun tubers in the industry, and all of these guys are great guys. And some of them were asked, where do you stand on this election? And a few of the guys were very open, which I appreciate. Like I said, all great guys. A few of the guys were like, hey, just like a business, my customers, I don't care if they're red or blue, they're customers, right? And I totally get that, especially if your primary income is your platform. But at the same time, and like I said, I have mixed feelings on this. At the same time, if you're in the 2A community, which I just entered myself, right? Fuck, politics plays a huge role in our rights. Do I trust? Like I said, listen, there's a lot of Republicans I don't fucking trust either with guns. But in this particular election, I think there's a clear choice. So, I'll throw that back out to you guys, right? Because now that I'm a content creator, I don't know. Is it fair to our subscribers to be quiet, or do we have a duty to get out there and say, hey, not telling you who to vote for, but these are 3 things that, really work in our favor? Vote for Thomas. Vote for Trump, the better of the two. If he can concentrate on home issues, 100%, man. Hey, listen, man. Me and my girlfriend laugh, right? Fucking guy just has to keep his mouth shut sometimes and focus exactly what you said on the home issues. Stop talking about all of the bullshit. I think it was the Super Bowl. Why the fuck are you worried about Rihanna's halftime show? Leave that shit alone and focus on the important stuff, which there is enough to do. To me personally, the other side, they asked Kamala at the debate, do you own a gun? And she goes, I own a Glock. It's like, fuck, you didn't even say what kind of Glock you owned. You said in another interview, if someone comes in your house, you're going to pop them. And then everywhere else, you're talking about taking our shit, taking the AR-15, bypassing, and I'm just going to pull up. Guys. I took some notes. If you look at Donald Trump's record on gun rights, and this is specifically the gun rights, right? Supreme Court appointments. If it wasn't for some of those Supreme Court decisions, I don't think Bruin would have ever happened, and I would never be carrying right now. So huge impact on the Second Amendment. Bump stock ban. A lot of people were not happy with Donald Trump's bump stock ban. Me personally, I almost think it's fighting the wrong fight. There's another YouTuber, and man, I wish I didn't forget his name, but he said, listen, we should have anything we want, whether it's full auto or whatever. So the bump stock to me personally, and then again, right, I come from New York, so my shit is limited anyway. But I wasn't too turned off by the bump stock ban. He had some opposition to red flag laws, which I totally agree with. Now, later on, actually, he supported initially red flag laws and later opposed them, right? Now, listen, red flag is a deep issue. If someone's a danger to society, they should be arrested, right? They shouldn't be about just going and taking their guns away. If someone's a fucking clear and present danger, they shouldn't be on the streets, period. Gun-free zones, right? He had efforts to eliminate gun-free zones. Trump has been an outspoken critic of gun-free zones, particularly in schools, arguing that they make potential targets for mass shootings more vulnerable, right? So, for the most part, Trump has been very pro-Second Amendment. Now, if you look at Kamala's stance on gun control, support for an assault weapons ban. We all know that, right? National buyback program, confiscation involuntarily buybacks, right? At one point, she supported a mandatory gun buyback program. While they didn't say it's outright confiscation, we all know what that is. Obviously, very strong support for red flag laws. They will go above and beyond. We got these in New York, right? And someone could just make an anonymous call, and have your shit pulled, right? Um, Executive action on gun control. This is the scary one, right? Bypassing Congress, right? During her 2020 presidential run, she planned to use executive action to implement gun control measures if Congress failed to act within the first 100 days of her administration. Pretty scary stuff. Gun manufacturer liability, and I'm not going to read down the whole list. I think I've said enough. But gun manufacturer liability, we saw this in New York with Remington. I did a story on Remington when I went up to Ilion, New York. Remington was held financially responsible for the Sandy Hook shooting, right? Horrible event. Horrible. All of these events are horrible that have to do with shootings. In no way, and that's one thing we can do a better job as a 2A community. When there are shootings, we don't have to go out there fucking 10 minutes later and post memes saying, come and take it, and all of this other shit, right? There's a time to show compassion, kind of chill out and just say nothing maybe for a few days. But anyway, to hold Remington financially responsible because their name was on the rifle had a big role in them having to leave New York, which they've been in since the late 1800s, and just moved down to LaGrange, Georgia. Did a whole documentary on that. The small town, which financially is getting crushed because Remington had to leave, it's fucked up, right? So these are some of the things that the ripple effects from some of these fucking policies with these politicians. Let me check out the comments real quick. Chris, I appreciate that. Definitely, I figured, right? Everyone's channel is different. So me, I was like, you know what? Let me just educate them on who I am and my beliefs. Pistol Pete, they needed to ask Kamala for Glock microstamping requirements, and she said, yeah, exactly. I mean, she's so full of shit, right? It's like, that's the most disrespectful thing. Not only do you not do your job for the people of this country, but you lie to our face like we're stupid, and at the same time, you got your hands in our pocket. New York, you take an income tax, state tax, Medicaid, all that other shit, sales tax, and then in Yonkers, look it up. Yonkers, we got our own additional tax in New York. It's the only city with an additional tax. At the end of the day, you add all of those fucking taxes, you're paying like 40%. 40% of our money, which we all know where that's going, right? It's a whole nother thing. Got 2 shelters up the street, which the tenants are the ones emptying the shelves at CVS, full of migrants. And listen, I'm the first one to say, I love immigration. Come in the right way. That was another thing that mainstream media and big tech, when they control the narrative, paint the picture of Trump. And once again, you don't have to love the guy. I'm not even saying I love the guy. But when big tech and big media construe a narrative purposely, and trust me, Thomas, like you said, the guy says dumb shit. But he said, we want people to come in this country. You need to do it the right way. I can't go down to Cancun without my fucking passport and everything else, right? Are you kidding me? Can you imagine if I ran across the border to Cancun, set up shop, and said, hey, Mexico, I want you guys to pay me $1,000 a month now because I got no place to live. And by the way, I want you to put me up in one of your hotels for a fucking year and give me a credit card. Get the fuck out of here. It's unbelievable. What's up, Patriot from Warsaw? I see you in there. Another guy, big supporter. Man, appreciate all your comments also. Really since I started as well, man. All right. The only time Trump was pro 2A was when he appointed Justice SCOTUS. listen, a lot of folks have some problems with Trump, with the 2A. They all do that, Jeff, but some a little less. Yes, 100% right. I'd say what also is really disrespectful when Hochul showed up at Officer Dilla's funeral service and talked politics in front of the family. Yeah, that pissed me off to hell, and I'm not a New Yorker. Yeah, I'll tell you, she's one of the worst, man. And like I said, we're gonna do some live on the street stuff. Dude, her policies make no fucking sense. Forget about the gun stuff. Forget about the migrants. In New York, there's also what do they call it? The squatters. Squatters have rights if you go on vacation to take your house. That's a law. For whatever reason, it hasn't been repealed yet in New York. But fucking people, you go on vacation, they squat in your house. Good luck getting them out if it's for a certain duration of time. Trump 2024. Red Dawn Media. My man. Guys, real quick. Red Dawn Media. This is my buddy from Florida. He's originally from Connecticut. I worked with this guy. He's a personal friend of mine. Started as a sportscast announcer. He's going to say he still is. But this guy, he's doing his passion. He just started Red Dawn Media. Check it out. Red Dawn, one word. But he's political. And I told him, I said, Matt, get your fucking channel going. You're so passionate about this stuff. And he's 100% politics. So, guys, if you get a chance, check out my boy, Matt. Real happy what he's doing. And Matt, tell them in the chat, where'd you just come back from? I forgot what border out there in Arizona. And hey, Thomas, I got to give you credit, man. I was nervous early on when I started this. All you guys out there, like I said, my first live stream, kind of just doing this off of the cuff, and really just giving you an inside, more of an inside view of who I am, some of my beliefs, some of my passions. And if there's any questions out there, let me know what questions you guys might have for me. Super excited to pick up my 300 Blackout next week. Once again, it's Radical Firearms. Got no affiliation with these guys. It's a budget AR pistol. Part of me even picking this up was kind of my fuck you to Governor Hochul, right? They make it so hard to get guns. Trust me, guys, there's not too many New Yorkers walking around with a 300 Blackout pistol AR under concealed carry in New York. So I'm excited to do a review on that. I'm going to throw it in a bag. Not this one. I'll probably get a Vertex bag. Not affiliated with those guys either, but it's pretty cool shit. So can't wait to get that. And plus with the truck, right? You guys see the truck I got. I love that thing. So it's really my truck gun. We're going to do more, as you know, the shit hits the fan stuff, and I'll talk about what I think is good for the truck, what I think is good for the bug out bag, what I think is good for home defense, and so on. Checking the comments again real quick. All right, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it's going to take some time to get comfortable, but I tell you what, seeing you guys in here is making me comfortable. It's funny, right? I'm in my apartment on Friday night by myself, but I feel like I'm with a bunch of friends. And I mean that sincerely. Some of you guys I met in person. Thomas, I didn't meet you yet. Patriot from Warsaw, I didn't meet you. Pistol Pete, but boys traveling. I want to look at my channel as an extended family. So, really appreciate all the support you guys have given me over the last year and a half. It's what keeps me going. And I tell you, I'm having fun anyway. You guys see me. I'm out here laughing. I don't give a shit. Always disrespecting my local politicians, which if they're watching this, I'm sure they're not too happy about that, but I doubt they're watching. By the way, Motor Munitions, I want you to fully understand people like me and everyone here in the 2A community love and support New York freedom, love, and patriots. I even support our Canadian neighbors. In Alberta, Providence, Canada, they are on the brink of possibly amending an Alberta Constitution section. Oh, wow, that's huge. And yeah, I appreciate that. And I tell you, more and more New Yorkers I'm seeing speaking up. That's another thing we're going to do. Going to start hitting up some, whether it's the rally or whatever it is, but really just interviewing people like Red Dawn Media does on the street. I definitely want to just get people's feedback on what the Second Amendment means to them in New York and other things. When you look at these politicians and they're like, "Oh, we're going to ban this and we're going to ban that," guys, I said it on a podcast I was on. Another great guy, Clover Attack, Clovertac. Awesome guy. He's actually friends with Chris from the 740. Awesome guy, awesome podcast. But like I was telling him, if you were fucking Thanos and you snapped your finger and you made every AR-15 and AK-47 in the planet disappear with a snap, you would affect fucking nothing when it comes to homicides, mass shootings, or anything. So once again, it's all political jargon. It's all bullshit. And the same thing in New York. And that's why I got that 300 blackout. It's kind of like, you guys talk so much shit and you just, it's not the case. So I don't know. We've been on this for about 37 minutes. I've been counting CZP07. Yeah, Pistol Pete, man. That CZP07 is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite pistols. As you can see, I got it right here. Really love that. Not sure if you saw, but I just switched over my defensive ammo to Federal 138 grain Syntax hollow point, which I'm real happy with so far. So got to do some more ballistic tests with this. Got to get the 4570 out there. Get some more shooting with that. Now that I got that scope dialed in. But I think we might wrap it up soon. I'm happy to take any questions and comments from any of you guys out there. This was my first live. I do feel better once we got halfway through it. Moving forward, we'll definitely have a more of a formatted agenda on what I want to cover. And I think one of the other things we'll do is for the next few weeks, just keep on this, not 100% politics, but just talking about some of the shit we're seeing out there. Yeah, Matt, I saw that. Exactly. No mercy, Israel. I saw that. I want to see what's going on with that later tonight. So, let me know if you guys have any questions out there. I really do appreciate the support. Trying to get that Marlin 4570 soon. Dude, that'd be awesome. Chris, I'm not sure if you're still on here or you other folks in the chat, but Thomas has one of the sickest 2011 collections that I've ever seen. Thomas, if you just want to throw in the chat a few of the 2011s that you got, I think these guys would get a real kick out of it. And that's another video we're going to do. All you guys watching, Thomas sent me pictures. Once again, huge 10mm guy. He's got that Dan Wesson, I believe it was the Razorback or the Silverback 10mm. We did a video on that. Sexy 1911 in 10mm. But yeah, this guy has it all. So we're going to do a whole thing just on the 2011s. Probably early next year when we get through the holidays. All right. So, guys, I think I'm going to wind it down. I'm going to do this one and cut it off at about the 40-minute mark. Really appreciate you guys. Get out there and vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I think it's pretty clear. But appreciate all you guys. Much love, much respect. Can't thank you enough. And yeah, man, I really can't say enough. I'm actually, it's an honor to even have the amount of support that I have. So really appreciate it, everybody. Have a great night. And should have another one of these kicked off in about a week or so. Take care. Stay 2A safe. Thomas, before I wrap, I'll do a video. I'll get her on one of these videos. She's a trip. she might want to kick off a channel, and then all of a sudden her on the show. Chris, awesome guy. Check out my boy Red on the appreciate you being on here. Warsaw, appreciate you being on here. And guys, have a great day. Stay safe.